Hi, everyone. Let's get started. So tonight we have 2 hours. I will take probably 10-15 minutes to introduce WeCloudData and the offerings we have for the members. And then I will spend most of the time present one student's portfolio and 2 projects in that portfolio. So first of all, WeCloudData, and I'd like you to probably, bookmark 3 websites if you don't already know WeCloudData. First of all, WeCloudData does bootcamp training. So if you go to this website, you should see all kinds of courses, individual courses, and also different programs, and including data science, data engineering, business intelligence, machine learning engineering, and DevOps. We also have individual courses. And just recently, we started WeCloud Open. So those are free courses you can sign up and learn at your own pace. So today it's about business intelligence. And so if you click business intelligence bootcamp, you have all the information, including the curriculum and some of the rankings and reviews by Google, by SwitchUp, by Course Compare, Career Karma. And more importantly, you will see the impacts. And also, if you click some of the links, you can go to some of the portfolio project, showcase some testimonials. Yeah, so you can check it out later on and get more information. And the other thing I want to show you is WeCloudData has our own learning portal, and this is completely, totally free to sign up. If you sign up and go into the learning portal, and you should be able to see WeCloud Open. And so all these courses are free, fundamental crash courses, including SQL, and Python, the fundamental courses for business intelligence, fundamental courses for data science, and for data engineering and DevOps. Essentially, we opened the pre-camp training to the public, and that will benefit more people. The next website is for Beam Data. Beam Data is fully owned by WeCloudData. Beam Data does consulting. So we offer our students the opportunity to work on a real project for real clients. So if you put this experience on your resume, you will most certainly get more interviews. And some of the clients are startups and others are more established corporations in both Canada and US. And if you scroll down, you will see different project, different use cases. Just recently, we started the project level. Some of the project we have done in the past, and they're very, very typical of different industries and sectors. So we package them up and repurpose them, and they become the kind of products we can sell to the real clients. And it's also a great opportunity for students to understand the real world and the real world use cases. So the next one is for WeCareer. So WeCareer is also 100% owned by WeCloudData, and it provides the career services, mentorship from the most experienced industry experts. And most of them are our previous students turned into, hired alumni, and we pay them, to mentor one-on-one our current cohort students. So this is part of the service we offer in the package. If you have done your own due diligence or study, some providers provide only training, very little career services, or some other providers only does the placement and without training. And very rare you see the training providers offering the real-time project. So under the leadership of our CEO, Shawa, we actually do all three. Now it's extremely difficult to lift all three: training, consulting, and career services. But we believe, these three are all parts of the same journey, the students will have to go through to increase the chances of, getting interviews and passing interviews. So with that, I'm going to switch to tonight's topic. It's about business intelligence students and their portfolio. Originally, I scheduled this presentation with the student. Her name is Zoe Tran, but unfortunately, she, just recently went back to Vietnam. So she sent her regrets and she will not be able to join me. But with her permission, I'm going to show you her work during this, journey. First of all, I'm going to show their resume first. I don't know if you can see this. Otherwise, probably I can make it bigger. Yeah. So, maybe it doesn't look very clear. I hope you can see it still. I took a picture and I tried to erase the names, so or I put the fake names, and just to protect the privacy of the student. I want you to see, several parts of the experience, several parts of the resume that prove very impactful. The first one is the skills section, and the second one is the work experience. And these two experiences are both a real-time project experience. And the third part is the project experience. As you can see, almost all of the skills, work experience, and project experience were provided by WeCloudData. They serve different purpose. Now, first of all, if you look at the skills section, we break it down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories. If you take a look at each one, you will see we have 5 of them: hard skills, and they are data skills essentially. So including programming, database systems, advanced Excel. So Excel is still extremely important for data analytics and BI. And data visualization. So this includes both Tableau and Power BI. And then some of the students have a strong background in statistics and math. So it might include machine learning, hypothesis testing, A/B testing, clustering, classification, and regression. So on top of these, we also put, some business domain knowledge. So business analysis is actually really important. And this is the foundation for work scope. So you want to make sure you work on the right problem, or you build the right plan. You build the things that the customers need. So that's also the foundation for product management. You can, use business analysis or product management interchangeably. And then some business domain knowledge and different individuals, you may have, different exposure to, the industries and sectors. So you can include that. And project management essentially, I think, includes the project management framework. And part of it is the professionalism and also the execution skills and influencing skills and soft skills. So you can put these bullets, and that essentially, paint a picture of you. So with skills, you're making a statement, and then you have work experience and project experience to support, improve the statements. So if you look at work experience, now you can see, both of them are with Beam Data. And there are two clients. And the first client is the Global Mail. And so it's a real client. It's the largest media company in Canada, and used to be a newspaper in print. Now they're going fully digital. And the second client is actually fire station and police station in Ontario province. And the project was done through Communitech, and it's in Waterloo, Kitchener area. So these are two real-time projects. Unfortunately, due to confidentiality, all the students need to sign NDA, and they're not supposed to share the content or the outcome or the deliverable of the real-time project. But they could write, these bullets on a resume, and that has no problem. So most of the showcase are based on project experience. So as you can see, we have 3 project experience: Google Merchandise Store, Megastore, and Community Solar. So tonight, I'm going to show you all 3. Any questions? Let me just bring up the chat. Okay. Before I go on, I can actually post the 2 URLs in case you want to play with 2 projects later on. So I will put them chat. So if you can just copy paste and just keep the 2 URLs, and you will be able to play with them later on. So let me just switch gears, and I'm going to, I forgot to mention, if I go to the next slide. Most of the students, and they have their resume in 1 page, so it's a 1-pager resume. But this student also has a 2nd page, and this actually works. So if you have 2 page, 1 page is your resume, and the 2nd page is a snapshot of your portfolio, just 1-page work sample. So over here, you can see, Community Solar, Megastore, and Google Merchandise Store. And the most interesting part is of course the visualization. So the student includes the visuals under 3 projects. So when the employer receives the resume, and they will also have the 2nd page, and this looks good. So very likely they will also, I didn't have it here, but usually the resume includes the link to portfolio. It's a personal portfolio website. So I'm going to show you the website in a moment. And so the second page work sample, and together with the portfolio website, I think will be enough to attract the employer, and the employer will give you that opportunity. So they want to see you in person. They will give you that interview opportunity. So let me just go to the portfolio itself. Just give me a sec. Oh, it's right here. So this is the student's portfolio. Let me try to make it, okay, so it's already 100%. It looks very simple, the portfolio page. You have different views, so this gallery view looks better. You see 5 portfolio project. Let's go to them one by one. She did include one of the real-time project. So this is the emergency response firefighting, and we encourage the students to use the standard structure to describe the project. So usually you have overview and data pipeline and the KPI to really measure success. And then you show people the process of developing the dashboard, and then also, how you automate the process, and then the credits. So if you go down, and I will just show you the high level. So this is the data model, and these are the most important, the key KPIs. And so this develop dashboard, and so this is really, really simple. This is a simple one. I want to go back and let's check them one by one, all of them. I'm going to show the e-commerce one. Wait, the digital marketing one. This is the Google Ads. So this is one of the real-time project. So this individual, she has done 3, I believe. So this is, you also see overview and building data pipeline. And this is the data model, and you see KPI. So you start to see some pattern, right? The standard framework to show your project. So these are, just some screenshot of the dashboard and automating process. Nothing particular. But once you get into the solar energy, so this is community solar. So this is not a real-time project. This is a portfolio project. So you have overview, building data pipeline, and define KPI, and developing the dashboard. So you start to see 2-page dashboard. So this looks simple. Yeah, and then you see the key results. Usually it's a good thing if you show the impact of your work on the business, automating the process. Let's look at the Google Merchandise Store. So this is the Google Merchandise Store. Once again, so this is an interesting view of schema. As you can tell, GA sessions, this is very, very high level. So this is the session level. Even above this level, you also have the user level. So user, and then sessions, and then you see the statistics. But our students, they actually work at the heat level. So if you expand this, you will see even more details. So for instance, you have page, and everything about every web page, and the statistics. How much time they spend on that page, and what is the page title, and everything about that page. And you also have commerce, and if it's about payment, did the individual actually put the merchandise in the shopping cart and which step the user actually stop and bounce. So all that good information. How are these data models created? So this data model was actually created by Google, but very few people know this. And most people, whenever they say they understand Google Analytics, they mean they know or they have used Google Analytics UI. But this project allows or offer the students the opportunity to go behind the UI. And we actually work with the level raw data. And we recreate almost every single KPI. So with that, you will have a very good foundations to understand Google Analytics, at the most detailed level. And so essentially you can create any KPI to measure the success for a very particular, business, digital business. So you can see some of the KPI and how it's defined. And this is the dashboard. I just want to show you, and we spend lots of time to replicate, some of the best dashboards. So this one was done using Tableau. So this company, I hope, let me just copy paste the URL. I want you to bookmark this site. And this was a small company, but it was acquired by Tableau, or you could say it was acquired by Salesforce, only because they produce beautiful dashboards, and actually lots of them. You can see 83 of them. So I encourage you to follow Tableau Accelerator. So this is the name they use after they got acquired by Tableau and Salesforce. So I just want to show you digital. I think it's Google. Wait a minute, Google Analytics. Let me go and check. Oh, digital marketing Google Analytics. So our dashboard looks very similar to this one. Let me just bring this over. So you can actually click start. And you have these many pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we replicate most of the pages. As you can tell, this is the first page. It's the executive summary. And you can see all the high-level cards, including total sessions, average unique page view, and session duration. And you see the sessions by device, and you also see bounce rate by device. So this part, you see the sources of the traffic. So where did the traffic come from? So you can see some of them from, this is weird, from Google Brazil. You even see Spanish over here. So you also see, traffic by location or country. So bottom left, you will see the sessions by channel. So you see organic search, direct referral. Direct, basically it's SEO. So it's the direct search. People just search in Google search, in Google search, and click a link, and that link will take the user to your website. And social media paid search, and you also see the other, KPIs, average unique page views. So I encourage you to just check it out. If you like, you can just use Google Merchandise Store to replicate the exact same dashboard. Yeah, and this is what our students have done. So I'm going to stop this. I want to spend most of the time showing you two really good dashboard done using Power BI. So the first one, so let me just make this bigger. The first one is called Community Solar. So you can see the design is good. The student actually took a picture of the dashboard on the Mac and create the logo and the title and a button. So if you click this button, it will take you to the actual dashboard. So this dashboard looks simple, but it's not that simple. So let me walk you through. So first of all, the design. And if you just come to bottom left, and you will see a small little video. So it's a GIF, and it shows you how to use the dashboard. Yeah. So you can see the prompt. Hover to learn how to switch the measure. If you go near this, and you will see the video playing, right? So I thought this is really, really cool. And then on your left-hand side, those of you who know the data model and the visualization, you're essentially working with dimensions and measures. So you visualize measures by different dimensions. So if you look at this design, the visuals are in the middle, and the dimensions are on the left, and the measures or KPIs are on the right. So the design is very, very simple, but very, very effective. So people will follow this flow, and people know that they can use all the slicers to configure different dimensions. You can look at the same performance by different dimension. So for instance, you can choose a particular state. Now it's all alphabets, but the alphabets represent different states in the US. And in each state, you can go to the next level to see different projects. So these are just the numbers of the solar farms. So you can look at the performance of one particular solar farm. And then you can also select the months. And so for this dashboard, we only have 3 months. But let's say you have 12 months for a year, maybe you have 3 years, and then 36 months. And then you can choose different months to show. You can choose to show 1 year, or maybe 3 years, maybe 6 months, by choice. And then you can also look at the performance by customer. So that's another dimension, and different customer type, the residential customers versus commercial customers, to see different behaviors. Now you can also look at the performance by product, right? And over here, we have 3 products. So some people choose to pay the same amount of money every month. So it's called fixed monthly. Doesn't matter how much you use, and doesn't matter if the rate is going up or down. You already know how much you will pay every month. So that's just like mortgage. So you have the fixed rate, and you also have the variable rate. So PPA is like variable rate for solar energy, for electricity. So PPA stands for Power Purchase Agreement. So those customers who choose PPA, they take a risk because the rate can go up and they can go down. And also, you pay by usage. You pay for what you use. So it's your actual assumption, not assumption, consumption, and times the rate for that month. So power purchase agreement. And the third one is prepay. So if you choose to pay for the next 2 years, with a big discount, and then every month in the next 2 years, you don't have to pay. So these are all the slicers and dimensions you can choose. And on the right-hand side, you see 5 KPIs we create. So the first KPI is the revenue or the bill amount, how much revenue you collect from the customers. And the second one is the quantity. So, sales or revenue are, quantity times price, right? So this is quantity, net kilowatts hour. And there's the last one, the bills issue. So this represents the number of bills or the number of statements the electricity company issue every month. As you can imagine, every customer receives a bill for every month. So bills issue represent the number of customers. And if you divide the bill amount by bills issue, you get this. So this is how much the customer pays every month on average. And this is how much the customer consumes every month on average. So with that understanding, I'm going to show you how to use this dashboard. So only through this, you will be able to understand, how much you can get from this simple dashboard. And I want you to know that most of our students, they're great, producing the dashboard, and they're great finishing up the project. But not everyone is good at, presenting the project. Not everyone is good at talking about their work. And this is something we place high emphasis on because during the interview, you will need to present your project. And this becomes very important. Otherwise, all your good work, is wasted. So imagine if Zoe, the student, has the opportunity to present this to the company leadership team. So she will start with, let's look at the volume. So if I click bills issue, if you look at the 3 months, let me just sort this by months. Okay. So I think you can see the uptrend. It just takes 3 data points to see a trend. You can clearly see the number of bills issued are increasing. So can we make the conclusion that the business is growing? I think so. The business is growing from October to November to December. However, if you watch, if I click this KPI, right away you see a downward trend, and that looks strange, right? So if you look at the volume, it's going up, but if you look at the dollar amount, it's going down. So this is a test of your, business sense. And business sense sometimes is just common sense. And if you think about it, this is solar energy, right? And this is in the US. As it gets close to October, November, December, we enter the winter. And during the winter time, you have shorter days and you have less sunshine. So many states, will have a lot less sunshine. And that's just the nature of the business. And you will generate less electricity, during the winter time. But if you have the curiosity, and assuming these states are not letters, but actual state names. So if you're curious, you would like to see, how about Florida? How about California? All these states, they have sunshine all year round. I should be able to see consistent trend between the volume and the dollar amount, right? So that's something you want to find out. But if you choose, New York State, and probably it's a different story. So it would look just like this. The volume is growing, but the bills amount collected is decreasing, all right? So this is the first thing we see, so you can present to the management team, we understand that this is the nature of the business because solar energy industry is a seasonal business. You generate more electricity during summer and you generate less electricity during winter. Okay, so next, let's take a look at the residential customers. So if you click residential, now you notice that everything will change, right? First of all, let's start with the bills issued. Let's click bills issued. I don't know if you notice that, if you look at bills issued by product type, you see more residential customers choose PPA, but you still see significant number of residential customers choose fixed monthly, right? So why? If you are the customers, what would you choose? PPA or fixed monthly? And once again, we can use the analogy of residential mortgage. I think all of us know that in Canada and US, the Bank of Canada or Fed in the US have already hiked the rate multiple times. And in the past, those families who chose variable rate, they save a lot of money, but not this year and not last year. A big part of last year and continuing in this year. And those who fixed the rate, those who chose the fixed rate, they are laughing because you lock in a very low rate. Used to be like 2%, right? But the variable rate has already gone up to 6%, right? So if you choose PPA, you're taking a risk, but you could save money. But in this case, you see that those people who chose fixed monthly, we don't know. These are not how much they pay. These are the number of bills. So if that is the case, let's look at the bill amount per bill. Let's click this KPI. If you remember, more people, let's just take a look. More people choose PPA, right? So if we look at the bills, the amount per bill, and you notice that all three visuals, they will show different measure, different KPI based on your selection. So right now, we're looking at how much they pay. So those people who chose fixed monthly, they pay less compared to PPA. You see, this is just like a residential mortgage. So it really depends, depending on the time. So this is the behavior of the residential customer. How about commercial customers? So let's choose commercial customers. Oh, I should uncheck this. Let's also start with bills issued. This is very interesting. So for commercial customers, as you can tell, almost all of commercial customers choose PPA. You see that? Almost all of them choose PPA. But does it make sense? Do they actually save money by choosing PPA? So let's look at bill amount per bill. Oh, wait a minute. So more people choose PPA. I think somehow they flip, they change the order. Let me just change this to by product type so it doesn't change. Let me change the sorting order to ascending. Okay, so you see, those who choose PPA, they pay a lot less. I mean, we're generalizing. Not every commercial customer has the same scale of operation, but on average, those commercial customers who choose PPA, they pay less compared to fixed monthly. So by now, I think you realize that residential and commercial customers may have different behavior. So knowing this is very important. So imagine if you're applying for the position pricing analyst, and your responsibility, your role and your responsibility is you work with the product team to develop different product. Like currently we have fixed monthly, PPA, and prepay, and you also work on pricing. Based on different plan or different product. What is the most optimal pricing point? But how do you define the optimal? I think as a solar energy company, your goal is to optimize revenue. You want to maximize the bill amount collected, right? So if that is the case, you know that bill amount is usually the consumption times rate, but that is only true for PPA, and it's not necessarily true for fixed monthly. So this creates the complexity for pricing strategy. So with this dashboard, you're able to present to the company that, working as a pricing analyst, you're going to study, to analyze the different behavior of residential versus commercial customers. And you will work with the product team to develop different products and also develop the pricing strategy, and with the goal to influence the behavior of residential versus commercial customers, and to achieve the objective of optimizing or maximizing revenue. I don't know if you get my point. So you can write down all this, and this become your 2 or 3 bullet points you can put on a resume. And when you talk about this, I think you have the full confidence because you have truly really done it, and you can show people what it means. And those 2 or 3 bullet points you put on a resume, you can anchor them, in the actual the presentation. So I'm going to pause here and ask if you have any questions. No? Yes? No question? Okay. So I'm going to close this, and I will open another project. Let me open Power BI again. So this is a much bigger project. It will take some time to load. It is called Megastore. Over here, I put Contoso. So what is considered industry grade project? And this is considered industry grade because of the complexity and the size of the project. A lot of times you look at the data itself, and the data is a lot more complicated. So I can show you the data model. It looks complicated, but it's achievable. So you can see a lot of dimension tables. It's the star schema, lots of dimension tables. And you also see the fact table in the middle. So you see sales strategy plan as 2 fact tables and surrounded by the dimension tables. And there's one particular, this is not a table. So this is a container or folder. And this is where we store all the measures and KPIs. You see how many we have? So these are all, let me show you. So all the other are actually tables because you can see data, right? Big or small tables. But if I click measure, you see nothing. And this is something you will need to remember and learn. And if I click open, you will see all these measures of KPI have the icon that look like a calculator. So these are all measures. So these are not actual column. So that's why you don't see data. So what you actually store is we store the formula. Some of them can look very complex. Let me show you this one. Oh, this is OG. Let me show you the Pareto chart. Like this one can look complicated. So all the measures are actually formulas, we say. They don't take up the storage, but they will consume memory. So whenever you want to show this, Power BI is calculating. So it will, if you have the calculation too complex, this will take more time to run. So you will need balance between the runtime or maybe the storage. And once you have the industry grade project, these are the decisions you will have to make. The usage of memory and the runtime and the storage, because some of the tables are huge. I remember one of the table actually has 15 million records, and it's only 3 years. You already have 15 million records. Let me show you the actual the data. So if you click transform, it will take you to Power Query editor. So you can see, just give me a sec. So all these tables except the city coming from local. I think even city, if I refresh all, this warning should disappear. Just give me a minute. All right, so this disappeared. So I'm going to show you the data source. If I click new query, and if you click SQL Server, so you can tell that Power BI actually connect directly to SQL Server. Let me see. I don't remember. Let me open my SQL Server. I hope my computer doesn't freeze. But when you are doing a big project like this, you will run into problems such as performance. So a better way is to put everything on the cloud. So you could also, connect Power BI to Azure Cloud SQL database. right now, my SSMS will allow me to, look at the database on my local machine. And you should be able to use Management Studio to manage the database on the cloud as well. Okay, so this is actually my server name. So let me just go back to Power BI. And I will just put the server name over here. My computer is humming. Here's, I have 3 databases. So this is the database I need. Can you see that? We have these many views. So all the views start with V. So views are just copies of the database tables. So these are actual tables, including dimension tables and fact table, right? So if I check any of these views or tables, I will be able to, for instance, if I check city, I will be able to bring this into Power BI. Since I already have them, I'm not going to do it. But I really want to show you my SQL Server. So let me connect. So over here, you see the same thing. If I click open database, you see 3 databases. I want to show you this one, Toso Retail Data Warehouse. So you can look at tables and you can look at views. You see, these are tables, starting with dim for dimension and fact for fact. And all the views, I follow the convention. You start with uppercase V, underscore, and the name of the view. But I want to show you one script I use to play with the database and understand the data. Let me just go to open. I want to open a file. This is the good. Okay, let me see if you have any questions. So today's audience is very quiet. All right, so this is a script, we give the students to play with the data. As you can tell, we want to experiment with the DM table. We want to experiment with the fact table, just so we understand the dimensions and also the number of records, the size of the fact table. All fact tables, they're very long tables, right? And the dimension tables sometimes are called static tables, so they don't change much. But the fact tables, they change every minute, every second when you have new sale, when you have a new transaction. But in a nutshell, you can see. So I put in the comments. So I want to see how many channels do we have. Basically, the unique values in that dimension table. DM channel, so 4 channels. So store, online, catalog, and reseller. So this business is doing business online and offline, right? And we want to know, how far back we have the dates. So it says 2,556 days. So that's roughly 7 years. And entity, so we have at the group level 3, country level 33 countries. So right away, this is a global business. How many states, 79, how many stores? So if you want to size it up, if you want to size up the business, you will be able to get a very high level idea. So this is where I really want you to appreciate, if you know how to work with data, if you use, the query, to experiment with the dimension table and fact table. And this is the shortcut, and you will have a very intimate knowledge of the business through data. And there's no ambiguity in data, and data forces you to ask, some really meaningful probing questions, and nobody can fool you because you want to see it in data, right? And it's actually pretty accurate. So you know that this business has opened 306 stores, and it operates in 3 continents, right? 34 countries. And so it's a little different when you look at the 2 different tables. But these are just dimension table and lookup tables. And you have to go to the fact table to see how many you actually have, right? So over here, you start to see another dimension, which is product. And product is a hierarchy. So you have product category. So broad categories, you have how many? You have 8. So right away, you know the business. It's audio, TV and video, computer. So it's in electronics and home appliances, camera and camcorder, and cell phone, and music, movies, audiobooks, and games and toys, home appliances. So what can you think of? You probably think of Best Buy or Future Shop, the kind of business, right? All right. So this is a high level product category, and this is lower level product level. How many products we have? 2,517 products. So that's quite significant. And between the category and product, there's also subcategories. So you have 44. So 8 categories, 44 subcategories. So in the past, I don't know how long. Actually, we only have data for 3 years, but some fact table has data for 7 years. So in the past 3 years, how many promotions we have had? 28 promotions. Okay, so this is this is important for finance. So those of you who have done financial planning and analysis, you are most familiar with the 3 scenarios. 1 is actual, 2 is budget, and 3 is forecast. Mind you, forecast is very different from budget. So for instance, December 2022, you create a budget for 2023. So that's called budget or plan or goal you want to achieve the whole year 2023. So what is current month? We just started May, right? So we finish the first quarter. So the first quarter, you have actual performance, and then you can, based on the information you have right now, you can forecast the Q2, Q3, and Q4. So Q1 actual plus Q2 to Q4 forecast, you also have the full year 2023. So actual plus forecast, and you use the whole year and compare it against the budget. So the budget or the plan once made, it never changes, but the forecast will always change. For instance, if we fast forward to July, then we finish 2 quarters. So you should have Q1 and Q2 actual, and you can reforecast Q3 and Q4, and then you add them together. So Q1, Q2 actual, Q3 and Q4 forecast, you have the whole year. And then you compare the whole year against the budget. And you will probably have a positive variance or negative variance. And then depending on the KPI, and it could be good news, it could be bad news, but you will have to explain the variance and how can you make it up, right? How can you catch up in the remaining months of the year? So this is very important for finance. And then the number of stores, and so you already have this. So I just want to show you this several fact table. And this is online sales. You can see we have 12 million transactions. That's crazy. And this is the fact sales table. This is the table we use the most. Even this one has 3.4 million records, of course. So this probably capture every single order, right? And then you have the actual channels, 4 channels, 1 currency. So that makes our level easier. Otherwise, if you have, how many countries? If you have more than 1 currency, you will have to worry about the exchange rate, and does it change every month? Otherwise, you cannot convert all of the local currency into US dollar. And then the products and promotion stores. So another fact table, you have 7 million, and this fact table, you have 2.7 million. So I just want to show you that what we meant by industry grade. So this kind of database is industry grade, is significant, it's big. All right, any questions so far? We still don't have questions. Let's come back to the actual data. So you see, I simplified this, but we still bring into Power BI account dimension, channel dimension, city, you have date, entity, geography, you have product category, product subcategory, and you have the sales fact table, and some other tables we create for the purpose of dashboarding. So let me just close this one. Any questions so far? We are talking about the data first. How can we put this data? So once we have the data, and then we will need to connect them into the data model. And you could have a data model over here, very easy. So all you can do is just right click the database. You can actually create, wait a minute. You can, here, right click this. You can create a new database diagram. Yeah, so for instance, you can select them all and add. So a database is a collection of related tables. And once you bring them all into the diagram, you will be able to see the relationship, among these tables, right? So what you can do, how come we have only, we have all the tables. It's just everywhere. So what you can do is you press Control A, and then you select all the tables. I think you select all the tables. Oh, no, not yet. Let's do it again. So now I think you select all the tables, and you can right click and select table views. Let's look at only keys. So it's a lot less. And then let's auto size it. And let's arrange the selection. But still, it's crazy. It's very difficult to see. But you start to see the keys and the relationship between these tables, right? So it takes a while, but once you reduce the number of tables, then I think this will become easier. So let me just close this without saving. All right, but coming back here, this is a lot easier to do. We just need to understand the relationship, between tables. And this is behind everything. The data model is behind everything. So if you do a good job with data modeling, and data modeling is dimensional data modeling, and these are the skills you really want to highlight. And you will have to have a very solid SQL database, so you can do a good job in data modeling. Sometimes people say, oh, you don't need to learn SQL to be able to use Power BI. That's not true. So Power BI looks simple and easy. It's just a drag and drop. It's actually not simple, not easy. If you really want to master, data modeling, you will need to have a good foundational SQL skill. So not just programming, it's database design. So we train our students how to design database, how to, if you look at a business, what are the data objects, what are the dimensions, or what are the KPIs? So you will come up with a number of dimensions to describe the business to measure success. And you will come up with, one or two, maybe two or three fact tables to store all the data. But once you have experience with that, and then, programming or writing queries to retrieve data actually becomes easy because you understand how data is organized. You don't necessarily need to become a data architect, but you're essentially learning data architecture, database design, data architecture, and how to organize data into tables and how to connect tables using primary and foreign keys. So you connect all the data, everything into one data model. And this is extremely powerful. Once you have the data model, everything connected, and you will be able to visualize anything you want, okay? So with that, I want to show you the design. I don't know if some of you find this really, really cool, right? We use background. That's how we make this dashboard appealing to the audience. Let me show you how we design dashboards. So these are the images. So we use PowerPoint to create backgrounds. So I see some of you probably say, now I get it. So you see all these backgrounds are actually from PowerPoint. So there's the first page, second page, the third page, right? So all these assets or elements we got from internet, you see? And then you can just save them as PNG picture. And then inside Power BI, you can import them as background. One benefit of using background, it's not just visually appealing, it also take care of the size and the shape and the alignment. So when you create a chart and you know how to select the chart into this, shape, right? And some of the people prefer Tableau to Power BI, saying that Tableau is more beautiful. That's not necessarily true. So you can produce beautiful visual like this in Power BI as well. But the problem with Power BI is in this canvas, you can do a lot of things. You have too much freedom. You don't know how to use the freedom. And whereas Tableau, I believe every sheet, you can only create one visual. But then when you go to the dashboard, you still need to take care of, the size and shape and alignment, right? So you can go to view, you can use grid line, but essentially, if you have the background, if you have the shape, that's already taken care of. Okay, so we have question from SA. What are those parameter tables for? Very good question. So you see these parameter tables. These are actually new features, relatively new features. Let me just show you options and settings. Go to options. If I click preview feature, you'll see, where is it? Field parameters. So this is still preview features. So it's pretty new and advanced. So parameters allow you to switch measures. For instance, let me show you one example. So remember the community solar example? We can switch measure by clicking different button, right? So it's the same here. So if you look at all the visuals, I can select gross profit, and then everything will be gross profit. Or I can select sales quantity. So everything will be sales quantity. So how do I do that? If I show you over here, parameter dimension. So if I click this, do you see parameter measure? Right? Yeah. So if I click this, you will see the first measure is net sales. The second one is gross profit. The third one is sales quantity. So I can use this. This is a general parameter measure. So if I click this visual, you will see category now becomes parameter measure. Depending on which one you choose, which button you press, and this will take on either net sales, gross profit, or sales quantity. You got it? So that way, the same dashboard, we can show many different measures using the same visualization. I hope I answered that question. Okay, coming back to the first page. So what are the functionalities? First of all, you see all this navigation. It's really, really cool. So if I click this, this will take me to the geo page. If I click manufacturing, this will take me to manufacturing. You see that? And this is highlighted in red. Coming back here. And used to be very difficult to design, but now it becomes so much simpler. So this is just button. You know, these are just button. So if you go to view and if you select button, where is button? Oh, sorry, insert, go to insert. If you go to button, so you will see navigator. So this is called page navigator. So one page navigator, you know, take care of the whole navigation. So the second part is the filter. So you have a filter, and you will have all these filters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, 7 filters. So you can choose different year, different channel. You can multi-select. They're just unlimited, you know, combinations. And then you click this, this will close. So this is start to look like an app, look like an application. It's really, really cool. So once you publish this back to Power BI service, so anybody who received the link will be able to use the dashboard online. And they can even use it on their cell phone. It's really, really easy, right? So some of you may wonder, how did you create this? You know, well, this is a group. So the best way to show you is click view and click selection. And this is how we organize this. You see, this is filter. So this is filter and this is navigation. And now you have net sales. So this whole group is net sales. If you click open, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. So this one is a KPI visual, and this is a multi-row card, and this is a single card, and the text box. You see, and It's not easy to create all this, but once you create one, you will be able to create the other three. So it becomes, and the other thing I want to show you, because we selected 2009, did we? Let's click this, yes. So if I select just one channel, let's say store. I don't know if you notice. So this will actually show you your selection. The channel is store. So if I multi-select store and online, let's do that. You see store and online. It's very, very smart, isn't it? This is necessary because if I close this filter, you wouldn't be able to remember what you choose, right? So this is important to show people your selection. And this, once again, is done through measure. So if I click this element, you will see, where is this? I believe this is part of navigation. So if I click open navigation, this is, what is it? Oh, this is an advanced card. This is advanced card. Yeah, this is, we use a lot of custom visual. This is an advanced card, and we use this home selection. And you can see this is what we call DAX, DAX. It's data analysis expression. So you know, some people claim that they know how to use Power BI. And if you ask them, do you know how to work with DAX, DAX, data analysis expression? Some people have never used it. If you haven't used DAX, then you don't know Power BI at all. So DAX is what makes Power BI powerful. Three things make Power BI powerful. Number one is Power Query Editor. So that's like a small ETL tool built within Power BI. The second feature is data modeling capability. The third feature is all the DAX, all this DAX function. All right, so any question so far for the first page? So if I go to the second page, and once again, I already told you about this. So this is a really cool, globe. If I click Asia, and this will revolve, right? This will move. And if I click Asia again, this will come back. And if I go near China, and you will see the tooltip. So this tooltip is designed over here, right? So this is a tooltip. If you go to any country, you will see the statistics for that country. So this is a really, really cool. You see that? Maybe some of the country they're not there, but most of the country you will see. Okay, so and these are just different charts, nothing special. Well, how to make the map change? Okay, so I know I'm also curious. Whenever I see something, I want to see how we can reproduce this. So I just want to show you the design of this dashboard. It's left, middle, and right. So usually on the left, you have the high-level cards telling you what's happening. And this is the primary analysis, and this is the secondary analysis. And you can see most of the visualization follow this. It's always, left, middle, right. You see it's left, middle, right. Slightly different. Coming back to answer the question from essay, how do you make this move? So this is what this in the middle. So this is the top middle. So this is the one. What is it? So this is a shape map. It's a shape map. And how to create shape map? It's actually not that easy. So shape map, you will need to have the map customized. So if you click the format button, map setting, you will see this is a map. It's a JSON file we create just for this. How to make it move, how to make it revolve. So if you choose projection, if you choose, I don't know how to pronounce this, orthographic, and this will move. Yeah, and you can also zoom. So I already turned on the auto zoom and zoom on selection. So this will move, all right? So if I click Europe, and this will show you Europe. So this looks pretty cool, all right? The next page. Yeah, I know, this is fancy. This looks fancy. Yeah, so this are just some custom chart or visual to show you the relationship between, a different category. And the thing I really like about it is Pareto chart. Okay, so there's a Pareto chart. I don't know if you remember the 20/80 rule. And same thing for products. So it's very true. Maybe 20% of your product bring 80% of the sales, and you want to focus on those 20% best selling products. At the same time, you want to improve the remaining 80%. If it's not possible, maybe it's time to stop producing them, right? So this Pareto chart show you so you see this cumulative graph all the way up to 80%. So these are the products that account for the 80% of the sales, right? And this is at the sub-product level. And if I select product category, so this is higher level. And I can even go down to product key, no problem. So this is tricky. So you see, we can show 3 different KPI, and dimension, we could also, select one of the 3. So 3 by 3, you actually have line combination, right? Then plus, all these, these are also slicers. So you can choose different class. You can choose different category over here as well, right? So this dashboard simply gives you a lot of options. And this is a service, this becomes a BI service, and the business people can play with it. So they're able to answer many questions about product. So this whole page is about one dimension, which is product. The previous page is about the other dimension, that's geography. Some of you probably came to my earlier workshops. I taught you a very simple way to memorize the dimensions. Just remember 5W and 1H, So customers are who, right? Products are what? Geography or location are where. And you can also look at and date and time. So that's when. So what else? Who, what, where, when, and why, maybe. So you want to analyze the different promotions, so for instance, discount is why. Discount happens when you're running promotions, but you also want to know, is discount strategy effective, generating more sales, or you're just, giving away the margin without getting back more sales. So that's important to know. And OG is organic growth. So this is about how to grow the company. Is it by selling more volume, or is it by pricing higher, increase the price? If you remember, sales is quantity multiplied by price. So if you want to increase sales, you can either increase quantity or price. But discount strategy is strangely speaking, by reducing the price, you can actually increase the quantity even more. So quantity times the reduced price still generate more sales. So this becomes a strategy, but you want to analyze, is that strategy effective, right? So let's go to stores. Anything particular about this page? Let's see. Right. Nothing particular. So this is just another map, and this is whether we achieve the target, by different stores, every single store. And this is a little something, and based on the store area, the floor area, how many employees you will need to hire. It's interesting, you can reduce this, you can make this more accurate, and this will change. This will change. So what's behind this? It's just a little linear regression we did, and then this becomes a basic tool for you to plan. If I open another store with the floor plan, it's big, we're going to have a flagship store, I don't know, in Toronto. So you can increase this. Oh. Yeah, you basically can, I don't know why it doesn't move. You can move the minimum and maximum, and then this will tell you how many people, at least, ideal number of employees, minimum number of employees, maximum number of employees you need to hire, for this store area. How did I include the regression? So this is done behind the scene. We use Python to run the regression. So if you have two columns, so you have the store area, you also have the historical number of employees for different stores, and you will be able to run regression, and it will create a curve to fit that data. So the regression is not here. This is only the result of that regression. So you will be able to get the formula, and so you can code that formula into this chart. Okay, so lots of quite advanced stuff. The next page. Quite some custom visual. This looks cool. Not just cool, it's also very useful. So you can see the manufacturer, which one actually, whose products we carry. So Contoso, I think the company has its own manufacturing base. If you click this, and everything will change to just this one. If you click again, this will change back. So this is all about manufacturer. So this is how you break down into both stores and product. You want to analyze which product and which store contribute the most to sales. And for this one, we also have multiple tabs. So including tab in your dashboard, you will be able to show more things, within limited space. I want to show you this, looks like dynamic comments. So you can choose different quadrant, and it will show different comments. So this becomes possible if you just save the comments into the table, and when you click different quadrants, this will show different comments. If you already include comments into your dashboard, guess what? You don't need PowerPoint anymore, right? So if I run full screen of this, I think this is better than PowerPoint with the commentary. So it makes it easier for the user to consume this content. All right. Let's go to organic growth. So once again, organic growth is about, what contribute more to growth? Is it just volume or it's pricing? So this is, if I'm correct, this is organic growth year to date. This is pricing impact. What is this? I'm pretty sure this is volume impact. So basically, this is telling you year to date, this year versus last year, it's actually negative growth. We sell more, but with a lot lower price. So pricing is having a negative impact on growth, but volume is having a positive impact. But pricing impact more than offset the volume impact. That's why overall growth is negative. Yeah, so this is also very important. And that is telling you either you're forced to reduce the price because of the competition from competitors, or maybe your discount strategy simply doesn't work. So that brings us to the next page, the discount strategy. Is it effective? So this will show you, this is a promotion timetable. It's like a Gantt chart. And this is the same idea, it's linear regression. Basically, to achieve the goal, the sales target, what is the discount budget? How much we want to use to entice the consumers to purchase? Once again, this may or may not be effective. If the sales you generate is even less than the discount budget, and that simply doesn't work, right? So this is ideal budget to achieve the goal. This is by store, and this is by category. So this is by store, and this is by product. Okay, the last one I want to show you is the details. This is the table I really like. I want to show you. Let me just deselect everything. Maybe let me just select only sales. Okay. So what happened is, I think SA asked me a question before. What are those parameter tables? This is another parameter table, and this is called parameter measure. And there's another one, parameter dimension, measures and dimensions. So what happened is, we want to make this table configurable. So you can choose to show any dimension, any measure by any dimension, any measure by any dimension. So for instance, I only want to show year. So let me just deselect channel, deselect product. You see, I only want to see 2008 sales. Why 2008? I think that's because we selected over here, right? So if I choose, and then I should be able to see 3 years, right? What if I also want to see channel? Let's just select year and channel. So then you have net sales, just one measure by 2 dimensions, year and channel, correct? And you can do more product category, you see? So you start to have a long table. Yeah. You know what? Let's just look at 1 year. Let's just categorize this to 2009, January. All right. So you see only 2009 and channel and product category. So we have net sales, but I want profit as well. So you see profit. I also want to see gross margin. Gross margin. You see how easy it is? You can configure anything, into this. So just by selecting this, not to mention you can filter channel, store, brand, and all of these. So this becomes very, very useful. SKU. I really, really love this. So this becomes a configurable report, if you like. And if you want this report exported, it's just so easy. Click the 3 dots and you can export the data. Right? All right, so that's about the presentation so far. I don't know if anybody has any questions so far. We still have 16 people, including myself. Any questions? Hello? So this project is the capstone project, and this is the highlight of the entire bootcamp. If you work nonstop, you will be able to finish this in 2 weeks. It's complicated. I'm pretty sure, if you do the actual work, once you find a job in BI space, nothing will be nearly as complex as this one. Okay, so we have a question from SA. How do the Harvard tooltip? Oh, okay. Tooltip. All right. Let's just come back here. Where's tooltip? That's in geography, right? Tooltip. All right. So let me just show you the tooltip. And usually I always like to show you through selection and then visualization. So this is the middle and top middle. You will see tooltip here. It's selected as a tooltip, but you will need to configure the tooltip from here. So once you select this, you see this whole thing, this whole page is tooltip. So you will need to go to the background over here page. So you will need to configure this allow users tooltip. So then you will be able to here you will be able to select this. Where is it? Oh, here. You will be able to select this as tooltip. Okay, so that answered the question. Right. So Ceci, how long, how many hours did it take for you to complete the last project? And I just said 2 weeks. But during this process, you will have a lot of issues and problems. And every single time you get blocked, and it's a great opportunity for you to learn something new. So this project will train you on how to work with a large database, how to deploy the database into SQL Server. And if you like, you can restore and deploy the database into Azure cloud as well. So you can likely, put that experience on your resume. You work with Azure cloud right? And this project also allows you to do planning and to do design. And after you finish the data modeling, you will also need to design all the KPIs and work with DAPs. Okay. The second question, I have work experience in SAP Analytics Cloud only, and I'm curious how short or long it would normally take for one with some experience to make this project. You see, this is not that hard. This is not as hard as you think. Yeah, but this is a project that you will need to combine, several skills. Number one, database. You need to understand database, and number two, you will need to get familiar with stats, data analysis, expression. It's kind of programming, but it's Microsoft type of unique programming. And SAP is ERP, enterprise resource planning, analytics. It's very specialized. It's highly specialized. I think you understand the fundamental of database or database design or data modeling. So that actually makes it a lot easier for you to understand, dimensions and measures, how we choose visualization versus, program. If you think about it, if you visualize the measures by dimension, it's just like SQL query, select measures, group by dimension, right? It's the same. It's the same. And if you put a bunch of filters, that's just like in the SQL query, you have the word condition. You can choose country, you can choose year, you can choose channel. It's the same thing, but it's just more dynamic, right? And the moment you change the selection, the whole visualization will change with it, only because the whole data model is behind the data visualization. So the right process is first business analysis for you to understand the objective, and so you can define KPI. So you know what data you need to select, and you also want to understand where are the users coming from. Are they from product department? Are they from marketing and sales? Are they from finance? Because they want to look at sales, profit, quantity from different dimensions, right? So you will need to understand how many dimensions you will need. Maybe design one page particularly for product group, another page for finance, and that's in this case, and the product page for product group, and OG, organic growth, for finance, and discount for finance. Yeah, so I hope I answer your question. And business experience also helps. A lot of times we have, students who come from STEM background. They are very quick pick up programming, but they don't understand business. And then you will need to work harder on that, because the business terms like net sales, gross profit, and sales minus cost of goods sold is gross margin, and minus operating expenses is net profit. This kind of thing you will need to pick up somehow. Oftentimes, people from the business background, they have much clearer picture of what we're doing. They have a clear sense of purpose, but they also have their downside. They will need to work harder on programming. We also have people coming from design background. They produce beautiful charts and graphs and visuals, but they will need to work harder on data. Okay, so it's a, sorry, I meant the tooltip in the first, oh, solar. How do we do that? And it's actually quite easy. And the tooltip, it's the same thing. And there is a tooltip. Let me just show you. By the way, the community solar project is an actual test a student received from an American company. And he did it well and he was hired. And later on, we just use this for pre bootcamp training, just to get people warmed up. It's a simple little project, but I think people feel very, very happy once they can finish this project within 3 hours. And they feel very happy they complete a project end to end and it's useful. Okay, so this tooltip, you see, I also have a tooltip page over here. You should be able to see over here. You see? It's right here. Oh, I don't know why it's so big. Yeah. So over here, we use a card. Once again, you see all my secret. You view selection. Over here, this is the slicer group. So over here you have card. Is it text box or card? Card. It's not night bulb. I think it's text box. No. Card. Oh, tooltip. Yeah, it's in the card. You see? So I choose to tooltip. All right. Ceci, thank you for your kind advice and response. Yeah, so 5 minutes to go. I hope I get more questions from you. I personally love it, business intelligence and AI, BI and AI, business intelligence, artificial intelligence. I think both are important, and artificial intelligence is built upon, AI is built upon BI, right? So BI is hindsight. It's about what happened in the past and why it happened. And AI is about, what is going to happen in future, or maybe how can we make it happen in future. So these are just 2 steps. But as you understand, in most organizations, the data work is a pyramid. And data analytics and business intelligence is the foundation of the pyramid. So obviously there are more jobs, there are more demand. Sometimes you can get paid quite well because you have the professional range, and business, data, and visual storytelling, communication. It's also really, really hard to find people with this kind of skill set. Ceci, are you a freelance analyst working on project by project? Or they may have explained, I'm asking as I join about 15 minutes later. I am one of the co-founders of WeCloudData. It's my full-time job. It's also my own business. I used to work in the banking industry, but now I'm running this business. It's also my job. It's also my job. I'm also the director of business intelligence and program manager of business intelligence bootcamp. So that's the reason why I'm running with today's presentation. It's on BI, business intelligence. Ceci, just one comment about, I work with a number of people with SAP background. I know you probably invested a lot and you have accumulated lots of experience in that, but it's highly, highly specialized. If you see your career, coming to a dead end, or maybe it narrows down to fewer and fewer choices. I think it's important for you to somehow reinvent yourself, to rebuild your career. It's not starting from scratch. A lot of the things you have done in the past is still meaningful and relevant. You just need to, use more of new technology. I mean, SAP is huge, is big. I used to work for AMD, and we use SAP, several modules, but it's too big. And you become a tiny little, nuts and bolts in that massive machine. And once again, it is internal. It is the internal system. But now with CRM and lots of SaaS, software as a service. So these are new technology we need to learn. So that will broaden your search and will give you more opportunities you never had before. And with the Chat GPT and Midjourney and this kind of new trend, new hype, I think lots of jobs will be displaced by AI. But I firmly believe AI will replace junior roles. And for seniors, if you know how to use or how to work with ChatGPT, ChatGPT can become your best companion. It can become your best assistant, and you can get more done, with less time and at a very high quality. So it's about time. I hope everyone enjoyed. So which project you showed today is the one related to the StepsCanada project mentioned in the event description? Oh, sorry. The StepsCanada project is not here. I didn't present that one. But if you email me, I can actually send you a link to that video. We already did that in a previous event. Sassy, looking for changing and developing your career path and love data visualization, but have only utilized MS presentation and SAP specific BI tool. It's now time to learn Tableau Power BI. Okay, so everybody, and I wish to get in touch with some of you, and feel free to contact me. I'm quite flexible in time, and just, this is my, maybe I should give you my LinkedIn profile. Just give me 1 second. Or let me give you my email address. See it here. Just shoot me an email and we'll be in touch. This is also my passion. I love to see people succeed in this space. If there's anything I can help you with, maybe give you some advice on career pathing, or maybe show you the best resources to learn Power BI, anything, just give me a shout and we'll talk. Thank you.